Okay, so today we will be discussing volume, and we need to figure out which shape we're working with first. So this is a cylinder, so we're going to write that word down, cylinder. Next, it says formula I will use. We need to make sure that we're looking for volume of a cylinder and what that formula looks like. So we're going to go to volume on our formula chart, and as you can see, the word cylinder appears right there. So we're just going to copy down that specific formula. So V is equal to uppercase B, lowercase h. And as you remember, last year in 7th grade, you talked about uppercase B being the area of the base, which I've listed out right here. Our base, we need to make sure that we're looking to see what type of shape that is. So as you notice, we have a circle down here, and that's one of our bases. And we also have a circle up here, and that's another base. So as you can see, we have two bases, and we need to figure out how to find the area of that base, which that base is a circle. So we need to figure out the area of the circle. Formula looks like this. So we're going to write that down. A is equal to pi r squared. And that r is radius. So just as a reminder, when we're looking at circles, we have the diameter that is from one side of the circle all the way down to the other side, and that this helps me remember. This is the letter D. And if I'm looking at the radius, we have my circle, and this would be my radius right here. So notice it's halfway right here. So from the center of the circle, it's only going halfway. Another thing that I want you to make sure that you're noticing is, in order to, which I'm pretty sure you remember from last year, in 7th grade, you remember that if you have the diameter, you need to divide it by 2 and you'll get the radius. So we will see how that works out with these two examples I have here for you today. Now, the first thing that we're going to talk about is drawing the base and finding what uppercase B is, which again, it's area of the base using this formula here. So we're going to draw that base. So I'm going to draw it out. And this time I'm going to also include what's given to me, which is 7.5. So here we go. Now I'm going to write down uppercase B, and I'm going to say that in order to find uppercase B, which is area of the base, I need to write down this formula. A is equal to pi radius squared. Now if you notice, we're given the diameter since we're given from one side all the way to the other side of the circle. So if you remember, whenever I was looking at these two different just reminders, I need to make sure that if I'm given the diameter, I divide by 2 to get my radius. So that means I'm going to take 7.5 and divide that by 2. So I'm going to grab my calculator, take 7.5 and divide by 2. So now I have 3.75 as my radius. So I'm going to write that down, 3.75. So now I'm ready to work with the formula that I was given. So now I have areas equal to pi 3.75 squared. Now I'm going to type this exactly how I see it on my calculator. I'm ready to use my formula. So second pi, and again, pi is you have to click second, which is the blue button, and then click the button right underneath clear. I type in 3.75 squared using this button here that has the X and the squared on it. Click enter, and I have this. So I'm just going to use this front number, which is 44 point, and then only use 2 numbers after the decimal. So I'm going to use, I'm going to say here, let me put it down. So area is equal to 4.18. Since I want to round that 7, this 8 is bigger than 5, so makes that 7 go up to 8. So I'm going to stop right there, and this is, I'm going to circle that. That is my uppercase B, which is the area of the base. So now that I have that, I'm ready to move on to the next step. I have uppercase B, which is 44.18, and I am going to circle my height, and that's the distance between the two bases, which is 11. Now that I have all the numbers I need, I'm going to write down my formula again, which is volume is equal to area of the base times the height. Substitute the values with V is equal to 44.18 times, and I'm putting the parentheses, times 11. So now I'm going to grab my calculator and I'm going to type that exactly how I see it. 44.18 times 11. Now I have my answer of volume is equal to 485.98, and that the units that I'm using is centimeters cubed, since it's three-dimensional. That means that it can hold volume, it can hold water, it can hold something in here. So that means we need to make sure that we're showing that by using the cube symbol, which is to the third power. Okay, now moving on to the next one. We have our second example here, and as you can see, this example is now giving something different. So we still have a cylinder. So I'm going to draw my base just like I did before. Now notice I am going to, if it helps, you can distinguish your two bases. So this is one base, this is your other base. So those are your two bases right there. What's given to me is just half, which is 16. So I'm going to write down uppercase B, area is equal to pi radius squared. Now I need to figure out if I need to divide. It's asking for the radius. Notice what we're given is half already. So that means that we do not have to divide. That means that we can just take 16 and plug it in to our formula right away. So I'm going to say area is equal to pi 16 squared. So I'm going to grab my calculator and type that in. Second, pi 16 squared. Notice if I put these side by side on the calculator, it means multiplication, so I don't have to put the multiplication symbol. If you want to, it doesn't make a difference, but it's okay. So I'm going to click enter, and I'm going to write that down. Only I'm going to include two numbers after the decimal, so I'm going to say area is equal to 804.25, since that 7 makes this 4 go up to 5, since it's bigger than 5. Now I have uppercase B, which is here. I'm going to circle it so that I remember to use it. So I'm going to write down 804.25. Now here my height is the distance between the two bases, which is 23. So I'm going to write that down. And again, I'm going to write down my formula. Volume is equal to area of the base times the height. V is equal to 804.25 times 23, which is our height. So I'm going to grab my calculator and I'm typing it just like that. 804.25 times 23. Click enter. And now I have here my answer. Volume is equal to 18497.75. And I'm not going to leave my numbers naked, so I'm going to make sure that I include my units, which is meters. So I'm going to put m to the third power cubed. Now I have my answer, and if you like, it makes it neater when we box in our answers so our teachers know exactly where to look for. So those are my two answers for my two examples that I just did. Okay, so you're going to do the same exact process to find your own volume for your own cylinders that are given to you.